Hello and welcome to week 3 of my Beachcombing Blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my blog, Coastal Crochet, and the links are in the description below. I've broken the tutorial down into smaller segments, so if you want help with the entire square, do follow the tutorials in order, but otherwise I've titled each tutorial to correspond with the round that it's there to accompany. And remember to have the written pattern with you as you work through the rounds. And I hope you find the tutorials helpful. So on to round 14, and you can see here I've joined yarn H to any corner chain space. I've made 3 chain and then I've worked 1 treble, 2 chain and 2 treble, that's US double crochet stitches, all into the same corner chain space. And round 14 is a simple round of ordinary treble US double crochet stitches, but we are going to be working into the back 2 loops of the half treble stitches from the previous round. So just like before where we leave the front strands to the front of the work, we're going to be doing that in this round too. And also because we're crocheting into a round of half treble stitches, that first stitch to crochet into of the side is very difficult to see. It is actually this one here, doesn't even look like a stitch, but there is the first stitch to crochet into. So we begin round 14 with 1 treble US double crochet in the back 2 loops of that first stitch. That doesn't even look like a stitch, but there are 2 loops to crochet into there, leaving that front strand loop to the front of the work, and then just work an ordinary treble stitch, US double crochet, and then continue around 1 treble US double crochet into the back 2 loops of each half treble stitch going around. And in the corners we're doing the 2 treble US double crochet, 2 chain, and then a further 2 treble US double crochet into each corner chain space, and then continue with the treble double crochet stitches around. And as you can see, we're leaving that front strand loop to the front of the work. So I'm just coming up to the final stitch of my final side. So 1 treble US double crochet into the last stitch of that side, remembering to go in the back 2 loops only, and you can see by leaving that front strand gives a really nice decorative effect. And then to close the round, to finish, we slip stitch into the top of that beginning 3 chain and do not fasten off. We're going to go on to round 15 still using yarn H. But there we go, that's what yarn H looks like at the end of round 14. Moving on to round 15, we make 2 chain, and that counts as our first half treble US half double crochet stitch of this next round. And then if you look at the pattern, it tells us to do 1 half treble into the next stitch. We're just going into the stitches as normal, and then into the corner chain space we work 1 half treble US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then 1 half treble US half double crochet, and we've just made our first corner. And then round 15 is just a round of simple half treble stitches, so just work 1 half treble US half double crochet in each stitch around, and in the corners we're working 1 half treble, 2 chain, 1 half treble. I'm just coming up again to the final stitch of round 15, 1 half treble US half double crochet, and then we slip stitch to the top of this 2 chain and fasten off. I've fastened off, and here is what it's looking like now at the end of round 15, and there should be 35 stitches between the corner chain spaces. So between that hole and that hole that side there should be 35 stitches going across on each side. And now we can move on to round 16. And now round 16 tells us to join yarn F into any corner chain space. So insert your hook into the corner chain space and join with yarn F. And we're now going to be crocheting into the half treble stitches from round 15. So firstly, we're going to be going into the back 2 loops like we have done on this square before. And then we are also needing to pay attention to crochet into that first half treble stitch of each side. Much less obvious to see when crocheting into the round of half treble stitches. So if we look at round 16, it tells us now to make 3 chain, and this now counts as our first double crochet, US single crochet plus 2 chain. So again, you might want to put a stitch marker in that beginning chain. And then it tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the same corner chain space. And so now it tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So remember, our first stitch of the round is this one here. Doesn't really look like a stitch because it was a half treble in the round previously, and we want to go into those back 2 loops only. So insert your hook into the back 2 loops and you work your double crochet, US single crochet. And so we're doing 3, 1, 2, and then 3. And now if you look at the pattern, it tells us to miss the next stitch, so we're not going to crochet into this stitch, but it tells us to work 1 raised triple treble front around the 6th treble along from the right below from round 14. So round 14 was our first round in yarn H. So this was round 15, this round here was round 14. So the 6th treble along is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's this stitch here, the 6th one along from the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down in round 14 that we're going to be doing this raised triple treble front around. Now these raised triple trebles, if you remember, we did them in week 1 on our first central square, and it's where you wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times. This is a tall triple treble stitch, in the US a double treble. So wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times. We're missing this stitch, and instead we're going to go around the stem or the post of this stitch from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull through to the front. You will have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is the very tall triple treble stitch. That's a raised triple treble front we've worked there. In the US, that's a front post double treble. It now tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet, each of the next 5 stitches. Now remember, we're missing that stitch, we missed a stitch, and now we're going to go into the next one, into those back 2 loops only, 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you look at the pattern, it tells us to miss the next stitch, so we're not going to be crocheting into this one, but it tells us to do 1 raised triple treble front around the same stitch below from round 14, just worked around. So basically we're going to be going around the same stitch again, also with a raised triple treble front, which in the US is a front post double treble stitch. So wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times, insert your hook around the same stitch that we went around at the start of this round, yarn over, pull through to the front. You should have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then you can see what we've done now is we've worked a raised stitch around the same treble stitch below from round 14. Now it tells us to do 1 double crochet, that's a US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. Remembering we've missed this stitch, we missed that stitch in the previous instruction, and so go into the next stitch along, into the back 2 loops only, 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now it tells us to miss the next stitch, so we won't be crocheting into this next stitch along, but it tells us to do 1 raised triple treble front, which is the same as the front post double treble in the US, around the 11th treble along from the previous raised stitch below from round 14. So here is the previous raised stitch from round 14, and it's telling us to go around the 11th stitch along. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so this is the stitch here that it wants us to go around. So the raised triple treble front is where you wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times, and we're going to insert our hook around the stem of the stitch, the 11th treble along from the previous raised stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front, and then we're going to complete the triple treble or US double treble stitch as normal. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there we have our next very long slanting raised stitch. And then it says to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, remembering that we've missed this stitch here, so it's the next one along, and it's 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then looking at the pattern, it now tells us to miss the next stitch, so miss this next stitch along and work 1 raised treble front around the same stitch below from round 14 just worked around. So when missing this stitch, we're not going to be going into that one. Raised triple treble front, same as the front post double treble. It's the same stitch that we've been doing in this round. So wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times, and we're going to be going around the same stitch we just went around from front to back, around to the front again, yarn over, pull through. There should be 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there we have our second set of raised stitches. And if you look, it now says twice, and what that means is that everything in the brackets, we've had some long instructions in brackets there, everything in those brackets we're doing twice. So go back to the start of the brackets where it says 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So that's what we're going to do, remembering that we're missing that stitch because we were meant to be missing that stitch when we did our raised stitch instead. So the next stitch along, and we work 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. It's 2, 3, and that's 4. And now we're going to miss the next stitch, again working the raised triple treble front or the front post double treble in the US. So wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times, and we're doing that into the 11th treble along from the previous raised stitch. So here is the previous raised stitch, and we'll count 11 stitches along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's the 11th stitch is that one there. Insert your hook from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull back round to the front. Should have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 and then 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, remembering that we miss that stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch along, 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. That's 2, and going to the back loops only, 3, 4, and 5. And then it tells us to miss the next stitch, so miss 1 stitch and then work the raised triple treble front or the front post double treble around the same raised stitch we just worked around, the same stitch for round 14. So wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times and go around the same stitch, the post of that stitch, from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull to the front, you've got the 5 loops on the hook, and then just finish that stitch as normal. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And now you can see we have 3 sets of these raised stitches. And then if you look at the instructions, we've worked everything in those brackets twice. So we go ahead now, and then it's 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, remembering that we missed that stitch from the stitch that we missed in the previous instruction. So 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And here you can see I am going into a stitch which is where we joined from the previous round. So here's the stitch we're missing. This is the stitch we now need to go into, this one here. Remembering to go in the 2 loops of these half treble stitches. That's 1. And because we've gone into this stitch, the next one to go into is this one here, because this is actually part of the same stitch. It's not always clear when you're crocheting into the join of the round before. Sometimes it looks like it's an extra stitch. So this is 2, and then the final stitch of the side is here, and that is 3. So now we are at the end of our first side. And then we work 1 double crochet, US single crochet, 2 chain, and then 1 double crochet, US single crochet, all into the next corner chain space. And then it tells us to repeat from start 3 times. So go back to the star, which is towards the beginning of the round, and repeat everything from that to the point where we are now 3 times. So basically we're doing exactly the same on each side going around. And there we have the end of round 16. Those lovely sort of 3 groups of extended raised stitches that give these lovely sort of triangle pointy effects. There are 37 stitches on each side between the corner chain spaces, and that includes these tall raised triple treble or double treble stitches in the US. So that's the end of round 16, and now we'll move on to round 17. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for watching. The subsequent rounds are in a separate tutorial, all available on my YouTube channel.